God, I am so angry at, I don't know. Everything. Right now. And this feels so fucked up I don't even want to talk to my BFF about this right now. It hurts too much. ATM frown. My husband just told me he is leaving me and I can't believe the reason. I need to give some background. I am 34F and my husband is 38M. We've been married for almost 2 years, have dated 2 years before that, so overall a bit more than 4 years. He's always been very insecure about himself, even though he has a great personality, or so I thought, is generous, caring, can express his emotions and all this stuff. When I got to know him better, I couldn't believe he wasn't taken. In fact, he had only been in 2 relationships in his life, both 5+ years long, though. He told me that's because he's shy and ugly and women don't really want anything from him, like, ever, especially not good-looking ones. I am fairly conventionally attractive and he has kept telling me for the past years how lucky he feels to finally have found his dream woman and then her being as attractive as me. I was wary at the beginning, though, so I let him court me quite a bit before going out with him for the first time, etc. I really was fearing for some dark secret of his that I just hadn't uncovered yet, plus I don't want to look easy. But turns out no, he's a really sweet guy, and just very shy. I also don't think he's ugly. He's not in any way super handsome or so, and frankly, originally I thought he was not my type, but his charm melted all of that away quickly. Once we started thoroughly dating, things went fast, because it all was so wonderful. Well, apparently a while ago he was on his own in the outside area of a restaurant having lunch when this woman went by, and apparently struck up a conversation with him. He's shown me a picture of her since I asked him, and she is drop-dead gorgeous. Maybe I am exaggerating because I am so mad, but she definitely looks better than me, I have to admit. Frown. He didn't tell me much about what they talked, just that she was very friendly, and they exchanged numbers, and started texting more and more often. He says she at some point openly started pursuing him even though she knew he was married, saying she just really fell for him and can't let this opportunity pass. He said that he was hesitant once he realized that she was hitting on him, and he was also excited because this literally has never happened in his life. In the past, he repeatedly said that women, at least attractive ones like me, have it easy, because we can lean back and let the guys approach us, whereas for him it was always hard work to even get a single date. I always replied that it's not really like that and that being attractive has its own problems, but he then always reminded me of the fact that he had to work really hard to get me to date him, too. He swears he has only met her one more time, for lunch, after the first encounter, and that he thinks it is not yet an affair. However, he thinks he wants to go forward with her, because, as he put it, this is the first woman who is genuinely interested in me. I didn't have to text her for 3 months to get a date or anything. I can't let this pass. Or something along those lines. My memory is a bit hazy. The 3 months refers to the time it took him to get a date with me, BTW. And that is why he says he is breaking up with me. He says it's the right thing to do, because he wants to continue contact with her, but also feels doing that would be emotional cheating and he doesn't want to cheat on so he ends it before actually starting something with her. I feel devastated. I know there's nothing I can do. I want to be mad at him, but I am also mad at myself. I really liked him when we first met. Why did I give him a hard time? If I had said what I wanted back then, if I had pursued him instead of playing hard to get, he probably wouldn't be interested in that woman. But I always felt if a woman does that, she shows she's easy and I didn't just want to get laid, so I thought I must act that way. And now it is biting me in the butt. Frown. And I of course am very mad at him, but he didn't even cheat on me. He's behaving exactly the way I always say people should act when they fall in love with someone else. Ugh. I kinda wished he had actually cheated on me with her. That would actually make it easier. Thanks for letting me rant. I don't need advice, I know I'm fucked. Comments, yes. That. It hurts so much. He says it's because this is the first time he doesn't feel like a beggar with a woman. But I mean, that's how the dating game is, right? We can't make it too easy for men or they think we are easy. He first started mention the 3 months thing after I told him that as soon as he started talking to me back then I fell for him, but intentionally made him wait. Truth be told, I was head over heels for him 5 minutes after first starting to talk to him. So he always pulled my leg saying you made me wait 3 months even though you knew after 5 minutes. I sort of get what he's complaining about there, but then again I think that's what I have to do as a woman to ensure a guy has honest intentions. On the not liking him, that is only his physical appearance. He's a bit on the chubby side, and, well, early hair loss and such. Only judging looks I honestly would never have talked to him. We got introduced by a common friend so we got talking, and that captivated me, but I honestly told him that physically he's technically not my type. I wish I could see it like that. But you don't know him. I mean, yeah, in college I would have called him a loser, but back then I was stupid I guess. Thanks and yes. Frankly, I don't know why she approached him. I mean, for me it doesn't matter but, he's not exactly Chris Hemsworth. I know what you mean. But I don't think it's fair. I mean, men and women are different. I know he told me that he always felt ugly and stuff, but I mean I married him. And well, I mean, Women get compliments. I had no idea that men are looking for compliments too. I mean, it's true. I never had to work to get to meet men. Then again, I had to sift through so many losers. Frown. I wish I could say you were right on him settling for me, but he's a very honest guy and I truly felt like he always was madly in love with me. I don't think he really cheated on me though. As I said, that would make it so much easier to hate him. Well, kinda. But I mean, if I had just told him right away I liked him, then I would have looked easy, but after all, he's the man, I am the woman. I mean, you don't buy your husband flowers or jewelry or a massage, do you? It's always been like that for me. Lady Navia, do not worry. If that woman is drop dead gorgeous and pursued him while she knew he was married, then she is bonkers and trash, and this will bite both of them in their asses soon enough. This is the case when trash took itself out. You husband should have worked on his self-esteem issues and not jump for the first woman who gave him attention like this. You are at no fault in this situation. Spiru 1. Exactly. If that woman actively pursued him knowing full well that he was married, then I think this tells a lot about her character. Letting go of a 4-year relationship with a person you love just because of a random hot person usually doesn't go well. Pin 2501. That's just bananas. I thought I was insecure, but he takes the cake. Crazy town. Feels like you dodged a bullet. Imagine him pulling this S after 10 years of marriage and 3 kids in. I'm so sorry, but I don't think there is anything you could have done different to have a different outcome. He will always be insecure, and this experience will give him validation for a bit, and then he will continue looking for it outside of himself. Edit. Holy fuck, this blew up so much. First, thank you all so much for your comments. This is much appreciated. And also, some of you made me really think. I still feel this was unwarranted, and if he was so unhappy he should have told me. But I guess I wasn't as good of a wife as I thought. I didn't really show him that I love him, and why, and didn't put in much effort, and someone said he was starving for attention, and I guess that's my fault in a way. Ugh. Still, I think just dropping me like this isn't right. I managed to get the courage to talk to my BFF, and we'll meet later so I can tell her everything, and she spontaneously will take me out for a spa weekend. I hope I can get my head clear there. I was so scared, but she was not at all condescending. She's the best. I feel like I couldn't have mustered up the courage for that were it not for all your support, so thank you all so much, even the critical ones. Update. A couple days ago, I posted here about my husband suddenly leaving me because of, well, having experienced for the first time that a woman actually showed active interest in him. Since links are not allowed in this subreddit, please check my profile for my post history. Yesterday, my husband and I met for the first time since he up and left last Friday. And frankly, after the meetup, I was very shaken, so it took me until today to be able to write about this. Since so many people have reached out to me with helpful comments and all, I think you deserve an update, but I really wasn't up to it yesterday also. This is really long, so sorry in advance, there's just so much to cope with. So here we go. The situation felt very awkward, and I got the impression the whole time that he genuinely feels sorry for how things were and that what he is doing hurts me. I know many of you said he's a douche, a cheater and whatnot, and I really understand you and are mad at him myself. But on the other hand, you all do not know him like I do. He's a very honest person, he despises lying, and is really bad at this. He carries his heart on his tongue, and I know him well enough to sense his feelings. Did that help me? Not much. Now, even if I wished, I couldn't paraphrase our talk. And I am sure I will miss certain things, and overall, it was a mixture of him telling and me asking questions, and all is a big flurry in my head, so I'll just summarize I guess. First, he told me that he really loved me, and he still does, but he feels that his feelings for the new woman are stronger. He told me her name, let's call her Jasmine, not her real name. He admits Jasmine is gorgeous, but claims that that on its own was in no ways relevant for his decision. Yeah, right, he told me that she originally approached him because of a book he was reading during lunch. Supposedly, the book's author is her uncle, and she was able to tell my husband some funny stories about the time her uncle drafted that book. He says he and Jasmine have very similar interests. Jasmine also reads sci-fi as he does, because of said uncle who is a sci-fi author, and both like gaming and stuff. He says after they exchanged numbers, they initially only wrote about stuff like that, and later on they talked about other hobbies and interests and found more and more common ground, as he put it. He also admitted that like 2 weeks or so ago he started to wonder if he should actively tell me about her, seeing how she turned from an acquaintance to what he deems a friend. I interjected that they don't know each other long enough to consider her a friend, but he says he feels Jasmine is really genuine with him. This is a man who cannot pick up social clues unless they are spelled out for him, but whatever, he also feels a lot more in tune with Jasmine than he does with me. Admittedly, we seem to have less common interests, but I never felt like I have to be exactly like my partner. Opposites can complement each other well, and I always felt we do. Well, looks like he feels much happier with someone catering to his interests a lot more. He also became a bit self-critical then. He says after he left for his friend's place, he sat down and reread his conversation history with Jasmine, and he realized that she had indeed been flirting with him before she told him she wanted more. It didn't start out flirtatious, but he admits he totally missed that. He opened up the app on his phone and showed me the beginning and then when she started flirting. He might have tuned the messages, but at least the beginning's really ready friendly. The flirtatious parts however were blatantly obvious in my eyes, but he actually blames himself for that and says that while that doesn't change his feelings for her, it means he should have noticed this earlier and, well, he said, make the decision to pursue her earlier. That sort of broke me and I started sobbing, because it sounds as if I never had a chance compared to Jasmine Frown. He even wanted to console me, and I allowed that for a couple minutes, but then I sought some distance again. It both felt good and bad to be in his arms. Frown. Then it was time to ask me why she is so attractive to him that he leaves me, his wife, for just the mere possibility of being with another woman. I mentioned that someone, I didn't say Reddit, suggested she might be a scam, or just interested in breaking up marriages and going after men who are taken, and such. He, of course, vehemently denied that. Supposedly, they met last Sunday to go out for dinner, and they talked about the fact that she approached him even though he is married, and she claims to have a really bad conscience about this, and that she never would have done it, had she not felt such a deep connection between them. Blah blah blah. I must admit I really struggled through that part. Because if it is true, it hurts me, and if it isn't, it hurts even more that he falls for BS. Frown. He then told me in excruciating detail about his dating life, and how long he was a virgin, and how he was always treated by girls back in middle school and high school, and by the women in college and later on, how he really feels that he always has to be the one initiating, fighting even for a chance, and felt like he was always treated as unworthy by almost all women, and how that made him bitter. He admitted that, but also how he always thought that someone who truly fits him, fits his personality, his character, his being, would be someone who would not make him jump through hoops, someone who'd outright tell him she is intrigued by him and wants him. He says he loves me dearly and was always very grateful for being with me, but that even with me he always felt somewhere between a beggar and the subject of a pity party, where I bestow the grace of my companionship onto him instead of actually liking and wanting him. When I asked him whether that means he settled for me, he vehemently denied that. He said when we started to date, I really treated him better than any woman had done before, so he really thought this was what he had been looking for, and before meeting Jasmine he never felt like he needed more. I of course tried to tell him that I am not with him out of pity or anything, and explained why I made him wait 3 months, and why I think the man should court the woman and so forth, and then I also admitted that I might not have given him the appreciation he deserved. This time, it actually was his turn to drop tears for a bit. He said hearing that made him both grateful and unhappy that he never really communicated better about this. I told him that hearing him say that feels like he is putting the blame on me. And I swear to God, his eyes like doubled their size, and he looked genuinely shocked, and he apologized many times and said he did not want me to think he actually has any bad feelings about having to wait back then, and that this is a situation where no one is to blame, but especially not me. He said I have been a wonderful wife and all, but that with Jasmine, it just feels different, and like a deeper connection that the two of us have, and that while he thought that I was wonderful, he now realizes that what he really was looking for in life was something else. So he says reconciliation is not really an option because he realized that we're not right for each other, and even if it doesn't work out with Jasmine, he knows now that he actually needs something that I just not am. I mentioned marriage counseling, and he said that it's not like our marriage has issues, but that the issue is that we're just not right for each other. There were more things we said, and maybe I'll add some later, but right now I am too mentally exhausted. Especially because I still don't feel like I can hate him, because he felt so freaking honest. I think he at least truly believes all the things he said, but that woman still might be a total liar or a scam. He at least promised to be careful with her financial wise, but he assured me she's not that. I don't know what to make with any of this. It hurts. I guess my marriage is over. Frown. Comments. He actually looked really miserable. I don't think he wants to hurt me. I wonder if I want to hurt him though. Frown. Well, I mean, it's not like this is just the first woman who hit on him since we started dating or so. It's literally the first woman to do that in his entire life. While personally I can't imagine that because I get hit on at least once a day, I guess it must be difficult for him. I just thought that I was enough for him. Frown. Was banned short for waste of a husband? I have to admit that by now I realize I didn't. I took him for granted. I saw myself as the prize which he constantly has to fight for. I always thought it's showing enough that I married him, and tell him I love him, and, well, be his wife. I don't know how to put this. He's not very physically attractive, and he is very insecure, and rather nerdy, and shut off. Unless he's lawyering, which is the only thing he feels he is actually good at. Even though he is good at so many things, and when he was younger, he wasn't just chubby, he was outright fat. And always hated himself for it, and all. I do believe him when he says that, and actually his sister has told me a couple times how he always was miserable when he was younger because of this. I was just trying to be honest there. Looking back from here, I obviously totally would have appreciated him more. But if there had been no Jasmine, how serious would I have taken him? I know myself, I might have brushed it off. Which would have been wrong. I just don't want to portray myself as perfect, because this fuck up has shown me I'm not. Frown. He's got a wonderful personality. At least I thought so. Really, he's normally so sweet, and caring, and helpful, and attentive, and all. When I talked to him, his appearance quickly melted away by his character, because well, really, he's honest and open-minded and believes in justice and all that. He's not a loser. He's a really sweet person. I think no woman wanted him because they never talked to him. Lavalin like, let him go, the reality of online dating is gonna knock him on his ass lol. Shattenspringer, patiently waiting for the update in 6 months that he tried to crawl back because Tinder scarred him. Reckless_secretions, I would love for it not to turn out this way, but from the way she's speaking, it sounds like she might take him back unless she finally gets a cycle of anger pumping through her. She needs it to move on. Berliwi, my ex-husband was very similar to this guy, insecure because he was short and skinny blah blah. He went on a school trip with one of our kids and met another mom there. They exchanged numbers and started texting, and he said he wanted to open up our marriage and practice ethical non-monogamy. It's something I'd said in the past I would possibly be open to but would never ever push anyone into it. I agreed and had no problem getting dates. The other woman he was interested in only wanted to fuck him if I didn't know and her husband didn't know. He was absolutely emasculated by Tinder, whereas I had a regular boyfriend who was super nice to me. I also reconnected with my first crush and we ended up together. I had first offered to close back up the marriage but he said that would cause resentment. Anyway, long story short, I am now happily divorced from ex, married to my soulmate, and he treats me and, more importantly, my kids way better than ex ever did. He's also actually a partner who helps with cleaning and cooking without being asked. Ex had one brief relationship, and now volunteers for a non-paying committee in addition to his work, so he's frequently traveling on the weeks he's supposed to have his kids, leaving them with his mom. Strange Botwin 7. People need to read all of the comments Oop left in the original that weren't included in this post. I promise no one would feel bad for her if they did. Nassaulian, even with the comments included I thought she looked bad. Trafliger 18. Just reading the ones that were posted here already gave me bad vibes about the way she treated him. Nervous_mongoose_527. Right, Oop never hit on her husband, and Jasmine was the first one to do it? GTFO. Oop fucked around and found out. She wanted to play games and make her husband chase her and do the work. The man found his self-respect and realized everyone deserves to be desired. For example, there's a lid for every pot. Something tells me, it wouldn't have mattered if Jasmine wasn't conventionally attractive. International_cry 186. I started out this post thinking okay, typical story where younger girl is mildly interested in an older guy, the guy throws away his life for her, and a week or two later realizes it was a mistake and then we get up talking about how she led him on for 3 months despite liking him before that. I've been in a similar situation before and it was downright cruel. She also would have called him a loser in college like, what? You're calling people losers when you're in college? Seems to me like he realized his self-worth and op is mad cause someone she sees as below her league is ending the relationship.